Okay, guys, so can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Miss.
Okay, great. Guys, so today we are gonna continue working on the speaking section. We'll practice question number 1 of the speaking section because today's our practice session. So that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be practicing. You guys are gonna be practicing, and I'll be giving you some feedback. All right, so let's see. Okay, let's start using Makush, and then we can switch. Okay, so if you guys remember, this question is the independent task. And basically, they will just give you the question. It'll be on your screen. They will read it for you. And after you get the question, you hear it, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response. And you need to answer the question in 45 seconds, right? You need to speak for 45 seconds. Now, the question is always a closed question. You always have two options. You gotta choose one of the options and support it strongly. And you gotta provide at least one reason and one example, right? Although you are welcome to give more than that if you want, you can give 2 reasons, but you should at least have one reason and one example. Remember to include details in your example as well. Okay, guys? Do you guys have any questions before we start practicing? All right. So let's see. Let's start. Okay. So here's a question. The question says, some believe it is important to learn as many foreign languages as possible. Others believe that speaking 1 or 2 languages fluently is enough. Which do you think is preferable and why? Okay, guys, that is the question. And now you will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. All right. So who wants to try first? Does anyone want to go first? Maybe Abril? Are you there, Abril?
Yes, Andrea, sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I think that oh my God, the first option is correct. I don't know, because I believe that when you speak many foreign languages, you have more possibles of job and sometimes.
Okay, Abril. So nice. I mean, in terms of the structure, you had a good introduction. You need to always have an introduction where you answer the question direct, right? In this case, you did. You said, I think the first option is correct. I would maybe try to change or rephrase the way that your introduction went. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is try to always answer the question using the same verb that you have in the question. So you actually did, because in the question you have the verb think, right? And you answered with I think. Maybe I would even add an adverb there, right? You could say, I strongly think, I definitely think that, but instead of saying the first option is correct, I would maybe try to say what the first option is, right? I definitely think that it's important to learn as many languages as you can, right? So try to tell me what the first option is. Don't just say the first or the second option. And do not say is correct, right? Because it doesn't mean that the other one is wrong. Maybe you can say the first option is preferred, right? So that's in terms of your introduction. Now you had a good reason as well. You said because when you speak many languages, maybe what you meant is that you have more job opportunities, right? You can use that phrase, job opportunities, to talk about possibilities of work possibilities, right? So you could say, when you speak many languages, you have more job opportunities. Great. So the only thing that you were actually missing in terms of the structure and the content is an example. Remember that you always need to have 3 layers in your response. First is your opinion, second layer is your reasons or reason, and third layer is your example. And your example should be very specific with the specific details. So in this case, you could say, I definitely think that it is important to learn as many languages as possible, since when you speak more languages, you have more job opportunities. For example, I learned English when I was very young. Then I moved to Italy for a while, and that's where I learned Italian as well. And finally, right now, I'm trying to learn Japanese. I feel that this has had a great influence in my career, since I am constantly having good offers or good job offers. I don't know, that I don't think I could have had if I didn't speak too many languages, right? So something like that. But the important thing is that you mention that you give an example with the specific details, right? So I am saying what specific languages I speak. Maybe I can talk about what my profession is. So I am, I don't know, I am a sales assistant. I don't know, anything, right? You can make up. So is that okay? Just don't forget the example. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so let's submit this and let's change. Let's see the next one. All right. So here we have, some believe that a high salary is the most important factor when choosing a job. Others believe that loving what you do is a more significant factor. Which do you think is preferable and why? Now you will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so maybe Alexandra, do you want to try now?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Then please, you can start speaking now.
Okay. Mm, Definitely, I think it's important when people love their job. It's because they can feel more comfortable, and it can help their development as a personal development. For instance, in my case, I study photography, so I didn't know, it's not paid so much money, but I feel I feel happy when I do photography. I love the customers and I enjoy the moment. So definitely for me, the best option is the second.
Okay, good. Good introduction. You explicitly mentioned your opinion, you use the verb. You had a good reason as well. It helps with your personal development. The only thing I'd say is, although your example was actually really good and you gave specific details, make sure that your example is related to your reason, right? If you reason you said that it helps your personal development, then tell me how choosing a job as a photographer helped your personal development.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see, let's do another one. Okay, now the question here says, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Why or why not? Use details and examples to support your answer. For learning job skills, workplace training is better than a university education. You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your response. Okay, so maybe Lorena? Lorena?
Uh, do you agree? I read.
No, please,
Sorry.
you answer the question.
Mm,
Did you prepare?
No, sorry.
Okay. Please pay attention. I'm gonna give you 15 more seconds to prepare, and then you go. Okay, so please, Lorena, you may start speaking now.
I strongly believe, or I strongly think that that for learning job skill is better work. I'm sorry. Mm, I strongly believe that workplace training is better than a university education. For example, in my case, uh, I have a better experience working in Train Metropolitano than a university education.
Okay, all right. So you're starting in the beginning, and I think that kind of made you waste some time, and then you didn't have enough time to explain, right? But it's fine. It happens to all of us. It's because you weren't really paying attention in the beginning. In this case, I mean, just follow the structure. That's the only thing I'd say. Remember that you need to have a reason before your example, right? So you tell me, I strongly agree. Try to use the same purpose in the question. If it's, do you agree or disagree? Say, I strongly agree that for learning job skills, workplace training is better than university education. And then give a reason, right? Since, I don't know, since in university we learn practical skills. And then you give me an example, right? And then you can use your example. So in my case, for instance, I graduated in this university, I studied this thing, but it wasn't until I started working that I learned this and that skill, right? That are necessary for my job. So make sure that you follow the structure. Intro, reason, and then the example. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Okay, now the question here says, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Why or why not? Use details and examples to support your answer. Listening to music while studying is a bad idea because it makes the time spent less effective. You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So maybe Pansy, you may start speaking now.
Okay, I disagree with listening to music while studying because you don't have concentration at all, and you put all your sense in other things. I think, for example, yesterday I had a test and I listen music, so I focus my attention in the lyrics of the song, so I don't have concentration enough for studying for my test. And in my test, I didn't have the score that was expected.
Great, perfect. You didn't have a score that you were expecting, right? Great. I really love your response. You had a great structure. Your introduction when you explain the opinion, your reason, it's good, concentration, and then your example as well with the specific details. Maybe you could have given me more details. Maybe what test was this? Maybe what type of music you were listening to, maybe where you were. I don't know. But still, it was very nice. Some tips I can give you, remember your introduction. Love the fact that you're using the same verb, agree or disagree, but try, I mean, careful with the preposition you use, right? In your case, you said, I disagree with listening to music while studying. In this case, remember that when you're gonna repeat the statement, you have to say that, right? So I disagree that listening to music while studying is a bad idea. But in this case, you actually agree with that idea, right? So you have to say, I agree that listening to music while studying is a bad idea. Okay, so in this case, you agreed with the statement. Try to say that if you're going to repeat what the statement is. But that'll be the only thing. Everything else was great. Hold on. Okay, guys, do you have any questions so far? Let's see, let's go to the next. Okay, now here we have, many people prefer watching music videos on television or the internet rather than listening to the songs on their own. Which way of experiencing music do you think is preferable and why? You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so Abril, please. Are you there? Abril, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. All right.
Then please, you may start now.
Well, I definitely I agree with listening the songs on my own, I think, because I prefer do another things while I'm listening to music and not watching the video clips, I think, because I don't have interest in the video clips sometimes. And that's all.
Okay, but what about your example, right? Your response is not complete unless you give an example. Right now you have 20 more seconds, and if you think about it, 20 seconds out of 45 is almost half the time that you're given. You have to make sure you use all of the time. And in order to do that, you need to have different layers. You need to go more in depth in your responses. So give an example, try to give an example. Maybe you can tell me about what things you can be doing while listening to music, or what things you're not able to do while watching the video clips. Maybe you can talk about one specific video clip that you watch. I don't know, right? But try to give examples. And also, as for your introduction, same thing, try to use the same verb. I think it'll make things easier for you. Because in this case, you said, I agree with listening to songs on my own, on their own, right? I think maybe. But that's not really saying anything. You're not really answering the question because you're saying, estoy de acuerdo con escuchar músicas, right? But it's not really well said. You could say, I agree that it's better to listen to songs on their own. ¿No? Estoy de acuerdo que es mejor escuchar canciones solas. But in any case, the most direct way of answering this question would be using the same verb. I think it's preferable to listen to songs on their own, right? Or I think listening to the songs on their own is preferred. Then you give your reason and don't forget your example, okay? Any questions so far?
Sorry, Andrea, I have a question. In that example, if I can choose both, because I agree with both, then I can choose one of them.
Okay, good question. You can never actually choose both of them or say that it depends or that both of them are good. Try not to. I mean, of course you can, technically they won't do anything. But it's harder to have a good structure, to have a good response if you choose both options. It's always better to go for one or the other, because that would be the most direct way of answering the question, right? They're saying, which way of experiencing music do you think is preferable? They're not really saying, what do you think? You know, it's not such an open question at the end of the day. You just have two options. So it's always better if you just go for one of the options. That'll make your response stronger, and it'll make it easier for you to structure it better as well. Okay, so even if you think both are okay, you have to make it up. Think of a reason why people would prefer to only listen to the songs, or maybe what people would prefer to watch the music videos. But try not to choose both. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? All right, let's see the next one. Now here the question says, some parents educate their own children at home. Others insist that their children should be sent to school. Which way of learning do you think is preferable and why? Now you will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So maybe, Alexandra, please. You can start speaking now.
Okay. I think it's preferable that children should go to the school to learn, because it can help them to be more social and have a relation with the others, good communicators too. They can learn there. For instance, I have my cousin. She lost 1 year the pandemic, and she took some classes from home, and she felt more quiet before then now she's so quiet, and I think it was not good for she.
Okay, good. It was not good for her, right?
Okay.
Great. So really liked it. Good introduction. You did answer the question using the same verb. You had a good reason as well. It helps them, or sending kids to school, helps them develop their social skills, right? Or their communication skills. And a good example as well. So well done. I don't think I have any comments.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. Let's continue then. Okay, guys. So the question here says, explain whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Robots will replace a majority of the jobs in the next decade. Then give specific details in your argument. So you will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so Lorena, please.
Mm, uh, I I strongly agree that robots will replace a majority of the jobs in the next decade. Um, since in computers now do sometimes better works than humans. For instance, there now they are new apps that can replace some activities that humans can take a long time, and this app make this in less hours than humans.
Okay, well done, Lorena. Good. So great way of introducing your opinion. I mean, perfect introduction, really. I strongly agree that robots will replace a majority of the jobs. Great reason as well. So sometimes computers, robots do better work than humans, right? Great reason. Now, as for your example, first thing, try to make sure that you start sooner with your example, that you go faster. Maybe I noticed that in this case you were improvising, right? You weren't sure about your opinion or about your reason until you started speaking. So obviously that won't happen, or that shouldn't happen in your test, because you will practice enough now and you will have some ideas about the most common topics like technology. And also because you're gonna prepare during the 15 seconds, right? Your reason. But without considering that, the tip that I can give you is in your example, make sure that you are not too vague and that you give specific details, right? For instance, you said there are some new apps that can do some activities but instead try to talk about one single app that can do one specific activity, right? You can tell me, for instance, right now we have ChatGPT, I don't know, which is a new sort of artificial intelligence that is able to create presentations, for example, that is able to program. That means that programmers, designers won't really be a thing anymore in the future. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm being specific, right, about one specific app, one specific type of technology that can do one specific type of job, right? Because remember that that's what examples are. That'd be the only thing. Okay, is that okay? Do you guys have questions so far? Questions? Okay, let's do another. Okay, guys. So the next one says, students should have tuition increases in order to maintain the library research facilities. Do you agree or disagree with the statement? Make sure that you give specific details plus specific reasons plus supporting details in your argument. You guys will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So, Benzi, please, you can start speaking now.
Okay, I totally agree that students should have tuition increase in order to maintain the library research facilities, because I think that is important for every student and has the resource to learn. For example, in my university, we had a library. So even we have the technology, but I think that physical book, it is important to learn and have some example for develop different skills and other things that I think that is important.
Okay, all right, good. So great. I mean, good response, really great introduction, directly to the point. You had a good reason as well. It's important that students have appropriate resources to learn, right? Great, really great reason. Something I mean, this is a pro tip. I'm noticing that you're using too much the structure. It's important, this is important, that is important. So maybe you want to look for some synonyms for that word. You can say it's key that students have the appropriate or the necessary resources to learn. Or, I don't know, having updated technology is essential for students' development, right? So essential, important, key, I don't know, necessary, required, fundamental. I don't know, there are some. Okay, so some synonyms for that. And just make sure that your example, you practice giving examples. In this case, it was good, it started good. In your university, you had a library, but go directly to the point, right? But that didn't have everything that the students needed, right? Maybe you can tell me the things that the library didn't have. Like, I think you mentioned books, right? You didn't have all the books. So make sure that you say it in a clear way. And you can maybe also emphasize on the fact that you would have liked to, or you would have been okay if the tuition had been higher, but the library was better, right? If the library was better. So that'd be the only thing. Okay, guys, let's do another. All right. So here we have some people like outdoor jobs, such as park ranger, construction workers, or sport coaches. However, others prefer to work indoors, like accountants, lawyers, and doctors. Which type of job do you like? Give some specific details to support your response. So you will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So, Avril, please. Hello, Avril. Are you there, Avril? Okay, maybe Alexandra, please. You can start speaking now.
Okay. I prefer to work outdoor, and I think is more exciting because every day it will be different. For example, for instance, I'm photographer, so every day that I have session a photo shoot session, it's different because I can go to the mountains, I can go to the beach, and the situation always is different. So definitely I prefer. I think people who likes more work outdoor, it's better.
Okay, great. So, love it, Alexandra. Well done. I mean, you had everything you needed to have, a great reason, and a good example too. And you had specific details in your example, right? You mentioned what you do and what types of, what types of places you can go to, by being a photographer. So great. I really don't think I have any comments. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. See, let's do another one. So let's see. Okay, now the question here says, do you prefer to work from home using a computer or to go to your job location? Provide specific details to support your explanation. You guys will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. All right. So, Lorena, please. You can start.
I strongly prefer to go to my job location, since if I work at home on my computer, I can can get easily distracted. But if, for instance, when I was sick with coronavirus, I was working on at my home, and I was watching movies while I was working. And that for me was distracted, and I couldn't be efficient with my work at that time.
Great, perfect. So I love your response. I don't think I have any comments. Great introduction, directly answered the question using the same verb and adverb. Good reason as well, you can easily get distracted when you're working remotely. And a good example as well, it has specific details, what distracted you, why you were working from home. So yes, I don't think I have any comments. Maybe some vocabulary would be good for this, right? Like, remote work, right? Maybe. But in general, great response. Okay, let's do another one. Okay. Now the question here says, some students choose to attend a university close to their homes so that they can still live with their parents, while other students attend a university far from home where they live. Which do you prefer? Include some examples and details to support your answer. You guys will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So, Fancy, please, you may start now.
Okay, I totally prefer attend a university close to my house, and I can still live with my parents because I think that is more comfortable. For example, I have a friend that um, live far from where they study, far from where they live. So they have to attend other things like food and other things that can make easily the study. So it's more complicated, I think. Um,
Okay, good, great. So nice, great reason, great example as well. Some tips in terms of the grammar. In the beginning, I totally prefer, remember, to attend, right? Or I totally prefer attending, but never prefer attend. And then you had a good reason as well. It's more comfortable, more convenient for students to live with their parents. And you had a good example as well. Maybe some more details in your example, like you could say, for example, I have a friend that, I don't know, whose parents live in Cochabamba City, in Bolivia. However, she went away for a university in La Paz City. I don't know. Right? So some more details. And she has to take care of food, of other things, right? Remember, instead of she has to attend food or attend other things, she has to take care, right, of different things. But it was good. Well done. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, let's see. So the question here says, do you prefer to go to bed earlier at night, around 9 p.m., or do you like to stay up until 12 a.m.? Provide specific details to support your explanation. Now you will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so Alexandra, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I totally prefer go to bed early at night around 9 p.m. Since body and the brain needs to take rest. The next day I can feel and I can have more energy to start a new day. For instance, sometimes I have to do some project and go to the bed too late, and the next day I feel so tired and I couldn't continue with my with I don't have good energy to start the day, so and I feel bad during all day.
Okay, great. Hold on, perfect. Really, I think you guys have mastered the structure now. So great introduction. You use the same verb. I totally prefer. Careful with the grammar, right? I totally prefer going to bed, or I totally prefer to go to bed. Also, pronunciation of the word seems. Remember, it's not science, sino seems, right? Careful with that. And maybe some more detail. Your example would be good. But other than that, that's a really great response. Awesome. Okay. All right. Now, the question here says, professors should make attendance at their classes mandatory. Do you think that this is a good idea? Give reasons and details to support your argument. You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So, Lorena, please. You can start speaking now. You there, Lorena?
Yes, but I don't understand well the
Is there a word you don't know from the question?
attendance and mandatory.
Okay, good. Attendance means, okay, I don't know the translation. Ir a las clases, ¿no? Presencia. I don't know.
Asistencia.
Asistencia. Yes. Professor should make asistencia at their classes mandatory means obligatorio. Also, everybody should to go to university. Okay, sorry for that. I'm going to give you 15 more seconds to prepare.
Okay.
Okay. So please, Lorena, you may start speaking now.
I definitely believe that it's not a good idea to that professor should make attendance at their classes. Uh, Since students feel obligated to assist to assistant to the class. For instance, in my case, I study at a public university, so professors didn't make an attendance. So the students go if they want to attend the class, if they want to learn. So I guess for me it's better not to obligate the students to participate in the class. That
Okay, well done, Lorena, nice. I think maybe you needed some vocabulary here, right? Make sure that you review vocabulary related to university, right? I think I sent you guys this word list. So for example, instead of assist, attend, right? That's a word that you're gonna see a lot here. And, ideas related to university as well. Because in this case, you said that it's not a good idea for professors to make attendance mandatory, since students shouldn't be forced to go to university, right? But I think it's kind of the same idea as you're repeating, right? And then, I don't know, I think it lacked some depth. So what could be another reason? Can you guys think of another reason we could use here? Why should attendance be or not be mandatory? Maybe you could say that it is not efficient, as there might be some students who already know part of the content, part of the course content, who do not really need to attend all their classes, right? They could just prepare maybe on their own for tests, maybe. Or you could say that it should be mandatory, since students need to not only like learn the content, but also participate actively in class, right? In class discussions, in class debates. And you can maybe say that that's part of the university experience, right? I don't know. So try to make sure that you always think of other reasons when you answer this type of questions. But it was good, Lorena, thanks. Okay, guys. So what do you think? Do you have some questions or any questions now? Is everything clear? I think we're good, right? In terms of the content, in terms of the structure. Now all of you are giving reasons, examples, good reasons and good examples, details in your examples. Grammar is also good, but what do you guys think? Any questions? Everything's clear? Okay, guys, great. And in that case, please don't forget today's daily survey. It should be on your screens. And I will be seeing you guys next week, right? On Monday, because we have to make up for yesterday's class that we didn't have. So I'll see you guys on Monday.
See you Monday. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Andrea. Thank you.
Bye-bye.